Take a moment to settle. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breath fall into its own rhythm. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to earn this moment. You're allowed to simply arrive. There's a quiet truth many of us carry, often silently. Rest has never felt like rest. It has felt like guilt. And today, we're going to gently explore why. There's a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from living a life where rest was never safe, where slowing down meant you were vulnerable to criticism, comparison, or disappointment. For so many emotionally neglected adults, rest was never modeled as something natural or nourishing. It was treated as laziness, selfishness, a sign you weren't trying hard enough, something you had to justify. Maybe you grew up in a home where the adults were always overwhelmed, always stretched thin, always exhausted. And without anyone saying it directly, you learned there is no room for your rest. Your needs come last. Your stillness is a burden. So now, even as an adult, when you try to pause, your body tenses, your mind races, your chest tightens, your guilt wakes up before your peace does. This isn't a personal flaw, it's a wound. Maybe you learned to read the room before you even understood what you were doing. You sensed tension, overwhelm, unspoken expectations, and you adapted. You became helpful. You became responsible. You became the one who didn't need anything. And in that environment, rest wasn't neutral. It carried meaning. It carried risk. So now, when you try to rest, your body remembers. It remembers the look on someone's face. It remembers the sigh. It remembers the feeling of being in the way. This is why rest feels complicated. Why it feels heavy instead of healing. Why it feels like something you have to explain, defend, or postpone. You're not imagining it. You're not overreacting. You're not bad at relaxing. You're carrying a history that taught you rest was unsafe. Take a breath. A slow one that doesn't try to prove anything. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands rest where they naturally fall. Notice the difference between guilt and danger, between discomfort and growth, between an old pattern and the present moment. You are not in the past anymore. You don't have to carry those expectations. Right now, in this moment, you are safe to pause, safe to breathe, safe to exist without performing. Let your heart feel what it's like to be held by your own gentleness. You are safe to rest here, even if it's only for a few seconds. It counts. Guilt is often misunderstood. We think it means we've done something wrong. But for many emotionally neglected adults, Guilt is simply the body's alarm system, one that was wired in childhood and never updated. Guilt appears because your nervous system is trying to protect you using old rules. Rules like, if I stop, something bad will happen. If I rest, someone will be disappointed. If I take a break, I'm failing. If I slow down, I'll fall behind. These rules were formed in childhood, when you had no choice but to adapt to the emotional climate around you. These weren't rules you chose. They were rules you absorbed. And your body, loyal as it is, still tries to protect you by following them. So when you sit down, when you breathe, when you stop, your system panics a little. It thinks you're breaking a rule that once kept you safe. Some of us might be living in homes or relationships where rest is misunderstood, where slowing down is questioned, where your worth is tied to how much you do, how much you give, or how little you need. If that's your reality, your guilt isn't imagined. It's a response to an environment that still feels demanding, unpredictable, or emotionally crowded. Your body is trying to protect you in two directions at once. From the old rules you learned in childhood, and from the subtle pressures that still exist around you today. So when you try to rest, your system doesn't just remember the past, it scans the present. It checks the emotional temperature of the room. It anticipates reactions. It prepares for the possibility of being judged, interrupted, or misunderstood. This is why rest can feel unsafe even now. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your nervous system is trying to keep you from being hurt again. But here's the quiet truth. Your guilt is not a flaw. It's a sign that you're healing something old. Your body is learning that rest is not a threat. Your mind is learning that you don't have to earn your right to exist. Your heart is learning that you are allowed to be cared for, even by yourself. This is not failure. This is healing. And that's important to acknowledge. Your guilt is a sign that you've been carrying too much for too long. In a world that hasn't always made space for your rest. But even in environments that feel tight or demanding, there are small moments of softness your body can learn to recognize. Moments where you can breathe without permission. Moments where you can pause without explanation. Moments where you can offer yourself the gentleness you were never given. These moments matter. They teach your system that rest doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be quiet. It can be subtle. It can be yours. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. It's not something you must justify. It's not something you have to earn. You were taught that rest is something you get after you've done enough, or that it is something that's optional after you've proven yourself, after you've earned the right to stop. But that was never the truth. Rest is not a reward. It is repair. It is nourishment. Rest is a need. and needs are not negotiable. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to take up space in your own life. Rest is what allows you to keep going without losing yourself. It's what allows your nervous system to reset. It's what allows your emotions to settle. It's what allows your body to function. It's what allows your mind to stay clear and grounded. When you return to your day, I want you to remember, rest is not indulgent. It's not selfish. It's not irresponsible. It's necessary. And you, with your history, your heart, your resilience, deserve rest more than anyone who was ever taught otherwise. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to apologize for it. You don't have to wait until you're falling apart to allow it. You are allowed to rest simply because you are human, because you exist, because you matter. Thank you for spending this time with yourself and for allowing these truths to settle in your body in whatever way they needed to. You are allowed to choose yourself in small, gentle ways. And if guilt rises again, meet it with compassion, not judgment. You are learning to return to yourself, slowly, quietly, in your own time, and that is enough. Your healing doesn't follow a schedule. Your timing is allowed to be soft. Wherever you go next, carry this with you. Honor your quiet truths. They're guiding you home. Take one more slow breath, and as you move back into your day, remember, you're allowed to be exactly who you are, one soft moment at a time.